Okay, welcome to our Community Coaching Certification Alumni Call. And joining me this evening is Lenny. And Lenny was in cohort 3 of our Community Coaching Certification course. And as an alumni, he has continued to stay involved in our certification teleclasses, assisting with those, and we're really grateful for that. I think our experiences of our alumni are really beneficial to our current cohort members. So Lenny, why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about you and what you do, and specifically how the coaching plays into what you do.
Absolutely. And thanks, Kathy, for this opportunity, and welcome to everybody who's watching this recording and video. My name is Lenny. As Kathy said, I was in cohort 3, and I was part of the, back then we were in hubs, and so I was part of the DC, New York hub. And I did that. It's been, my gosh, I think it's been over a year now. Been over a year now since I took the community coaching course, and it's really been a very powerful learning experience for me. What I do now is I work for the federal government. I work for one of the many agencies, and I've really utilized what I learned in coaching to support what I do, not just with supervision. I'm a supervisor and I manage a team, but really in using my coaching skills as part of my supervision. You learn in supervisory classes that you're supposed to apply coaching skills, but they're not really true coaching skills. They just kind of use that terminology. And so this class really helped me kind of harness and really focus on what coaching really is, which to me, I say foster the potential in the individual or the group in this case. And the other piece of it is the group coaching, right? Working with groups. I see groups and organizations as entities, right? Organic bodies, and they go through trauma and all those things that individuals do, and it's a different perspective and skill sets. So this class of community coaching to me was very beneficial because you not only focused on coaching skills, which you apply to individuals, but how to apply that to groups and to organizations. So coaching within the context of groups as living entities. And I've used this course and what I've learned to expand my network. Today I continue coaching, not only within the work that I do, and I'm very, I've kind of, since graduating from the class, it's kind of taken off internally within my agency, and I work for the Department of Interior. But being part of the organizations, they've embraced coaching for their leadership level of superintendents and above, supervisors and above. And so I've been actively coaching in that program. And I have several clients within the organization, and I coach during work time, which is great. I get to have the love and joy that I get from coaching and assisting people in groups, and I can do it during work time. And outside of, it's pretty cool.
I'm smiling because I love hearing all that this is like. You're just flourishing in this work, right? Like, and I love hearing that. And since we met almost a year ago, it's a very different space you're in now. Yeah. And the work you're doing feels very different, and that you get to use this all the time. I really love that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Coaching, it's so funny. I wish I could exist in this space more, but I feel very fortunate to, when I do coach, and I'm coaching like high level positions, and I show up and I glow, literally. Halo. So it really helps me bring my best stuff to the conversation.
Yeah.
The role of coach. It's powerful. I get a lot out of the coaching relationship with clients. And it's not just individual clients that I coach. I actually coach groups too. So I've been able to, I'm part of the facilitation roster for my organization. And that's where I came to this space, right? I came as a facilitator and really, really doing a lot of work in everything that I did in facilitation, working with groups, communities. I did a lot of international development work and practice a lot of facilitation technology. But combining that with coaching, they complement each other really, really well. And so I've been able to do that in both avenues of work, both in my current work that I do and in my portfolio and what I'm charged of. I run a few service-wide, what we call service-wide, is these national programs. And so I oversee that. And so I work with several work groups across the globe, actually. And you can see where coaching and facilitation actively shows up in that piece.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. And I love that earlier you made this connection to coaching a group as an entity, right? Like the group is, the group unto itself has many characteristics of when you're coaching individuals, So in the current cohort, we're using something called the CARE model. And CARE is an acronym that we help students learn to kind of go through a process of coaching. And we teach that one-on-one, if people want to be coaching one-on-one, but also using it within groups.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is there's a progression when you first start that people end up coaching individuals in the group, right? Like that's interesting to watch. And then as they learn more, then they begin to treat the whole group as an entity rather than, possibly 16 different individuals, right? So it's fascinating. And we end up in the course, we talk a lot about coaching, supporting facilitation. And we've gotten away from that conversation of, is it coaching or is it facilitation? And the answer is yes, right? Like it's both. It's both, right?
Yeah.
So we spent quite a bit of time with that. So Lenny, can you talk a little bit about, and maybe you've said it in here, but what drew you originally to the community coaching certification course?
Absolutely. So as I said, I did a lot of facilitation in the work that I currently do, and in the past, my whole career is about facilitation. I started in kind of fine art education, but really my work is in project management and operations and things. When I'm a proud return Peace Corps volunteer, and then I used to work for Peace Corps, and I have a lot of volunteers. Most people are familiar with Peace Corps. And so with volunteers and working with different age groups in particular, I not only worked with Peace Corps, but in Peace Corps, you've got, all the way from young adults all the way to people post-retirement. It requires you to approach them, develop relationships, and meet them halfway, at a different level. And so my organization, Peace Corps, had really, they embraced the concept of coaching to support our volunteers, to support our staff. And so I actually was forced to facilitate some of the general pieces of coaching. And I learned through that process, I learned it, and then I incorporated it into my support style with my volunteers and my staff.
Yeah.
And by intentionally doing that, I found that the results, the impact from the standpoint of my volunteers and for me, it was so much better. Right? That approach, the coach approach, the incorporating true coaching skills within the populations or the people that I'm responsible for and supervise, it paid off in spades. And I got a high from that. Like my personal reaction was, wow, it would actually made my work, my management a lot easier. And my previous style was, oh my gosh, I'm really concerned. I would you control things, right? It's about really controlling, and that doesn't necessarily work well with people, a lot of people, right?
No, it does not.
When you're responsible, in my last post, I had 70 volunteers, and I have to interface with all of them throughout their service. And that one-on-one conversation that I have with them, we did a lot of coaching, and it paid off. And it wasn't just me. What I found was, through Peace Corps, the local staff are from the country, right? The host country. And certain countries, the culture of management and leadership, it's very much, you know, top down. I tell you what to do, you have to follow. And so working with the local staff to do a behavior change in how they supervise, and that was coaching, right? And that was a lot of it was group coaching and a lot of these activities, and it really turned things around. And it was a long process. It took a couple of years, but the results were exponential, right? It was like a ripple effect of the volunteer satisfaction increased, our retention rate increased, our impact, our service to the communities that we're working increased. And that was my initial stab at it. And I saw firsthand how it was very, very powerful. And through that process, I had my own coaches as well. And then when I moved to another federal agency, where I'm at now, I'm with the Park Service, there was a need. I had the desire to actually go through actual coaching. And at that point, it was trying to figure out, there's so many different coaching training programs out there.
Right.
And my angle for coaching, the reason why I came to Leadership That Works and community coaching, is because among the ones that I did my research on, Leadership That Works spoke to me because of that cultural competency, that diversity, that social justice, that race relation, that implicit bias piece, you know, and that was very, very important to me. I didn't really see that in a lot of the other coaching programs that I saw.
Yeah.
And I'm not only just working with individuals, but in a lot of different cultural contexts, more than half of the world, it's not about the individual. They approach things as a community.
Yeah, as a system, right?
As a system.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that plays a lot of part of it.
Yeah, so we're getting close to our end of time, which I just love hearing this. So go on and on. Can we briefly end with you, just real briefly, like what is a piece of advice or encouragement that you'd give people if they were thinking about this course? It's kind of a way to end our call.
There's that Nike slogan that says, just do it. If you, for me, it's again, fostering the potential in your clients, right? Whether it be an individual or group. And if you have, your interest is their interest, this is a good avenue to get those skills and to apply that to what you do. It definitely pays off. Coaching, the biggest thing in coaching, the biggest takeaway is the ability to listen at all the different levels, right? The 3 levels of coaching. And it's very powerful. It's really powerful. You get to read things differently. Yes,
you do. It changes it changes how you show up. And it changes you, right? It changed me. Like, right, that I'm a different person after going through a couple coach certification programs. And then as a faculty and working with all of you, I'm not the same person I was.
Absolutely.
5 years ago. So
that's beautiful, isn't it? It's not.
Yes, it is. It is beautiful.
So great to grow.
Yes. I don't want to go back to what I was, which was advice giving, controlling power, right? I really am done with that. So
same here. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So thanks so much, Lenny, for this time. And those of you that are watching this and are interested in learning more about the community coaching certification course, you can go to leadershipthatworks.com, and there is a tab for courses. And you'll see courses under the community coaching under the courses tab. So thanks for being with us tonight, and thanks, Lenny.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.